So it's interesting because children from a very early age will oftentimes start to display empathic behaviors or sympathy towards other people, although there are tremendous individual differences, and we have to, as parents, as teachers, as people who work with children, we always have to be mindful of that there are individual differences, and that for many kids this takes time, and for all kids this takes time to develop these skills, because a lot of it is related to things like perspective taking and understanding others. But we do see, for example, a lot of children within months of being born will exhibit empathic behaviors. In fact, some people consider the emotional contagion that you see in daycares and nurseries, where when one baby cries, all of the babies start crying. Some people consider that to be an early form, or one of the earliest forms of empathy. It's a little bit more simple compared to empathy in later years, where you're actually understanding other people's perspectives. But that's one way that it starts. But even beyond that, which happens immediately after birth, within the first few months, many times kids will start to exhibit that empathy. So they will show distress when other people are distressed, when other infants are distressed. They will oftentimes start to reciprocate with each other by smiling at each other, or cooing at each other, or even gesturing towards each other. And all of that are signs that they're starting to consider other people's perspectives. By 6 to 9 months, we see children exhibiting a lot of these empathic and sympathetic behaviors towards others. So they will coo at each other, they will babble at each other, and try to get each other's attention that way. Although that early, oftentimes it's not reciprocated, so they might not notice each other's attempts to engage their interest or their attention during that time. But we even see around 9 months that oftentimes children, if they're capable, will start to engage in rudimentary sharing behaviors. So they will share their toys, or offer food towards other people, which again is a sign of caring towards other people and being kind. By the time children are 18 months, they've developed what we call more self-conscious emotions, things like guilt, empathy, pride, embarrassment, where they're aware of other people's expectations around them. And that can really, again, affect the way they interact with other people, because they have a better understanding of what other people expect. In some studies, we found that children are aware, or more aware by that age, of other people's desires and emotions. So for example, a parent who makes a bad face when presented with broccoli, that child learns that that parent doesn't like broccoli. But if the parent makes a happy face or an excited face when the child shares his or her crackers with the parent, that child will pick up on that and will be more likely to share crackers with that parent in the future, which again is just a sign that they understand that parent's desires, or what it is that he or she likes, which is the beginning of kindness towards other people. So these are skills that gradually progress over time as children start to learn more about themselves and more about their own emotions and their own beliefs. They gradually start to understand that other people have different beliefs, and they get better at picking up on what those are. Again, we see that very early on, that those skills are developing. It just takes time. Typically, by the time they're age 2, they're much better at sharing and engaging in cooperative or collaborative play. But even play between two children, again, it becomes more complex over time. So initially, it might be what we call parallel play, where they're just playing side by side, but not interacting so much. But as they get older, again, it becomes much more collaborative, and children start to work on common goals. So they might draw a picture together for mommy, or a picture together for the teacher, or work together to build a castle rather than working singularly.